Welcome to my presentation on managing content. We are all here because we want to ensure that your website, which is the school's public face, provides the best information for its diverse group of users, and that includes students, parents, alumni, faculty, staff, and donors. A pretty tall order to be sure. Which is why then it is crucial to have a system in place to help you manage website content, keeping it up to date, engaging, and easy to navigate. This is what content governance is all about. It's an official sounding name, I know, but rest assured you won't be thrown in jail or kicked off the internet if you fail to update the school calendar or remove old photos and articles. You may, however, get some feedback from your users. John Brunswick, a well-known consultant to the Oracle Corporation, has devised what's known as the minimalist approach to content governance. And this is what I'd like you to consider today as you make plans to update the school website. By minimalist approach, Brunswick actually means minimal work for the users. So the onus is on you as web developers and content managers to improve users' experience and productivity as they search for information. The minimalist approach creates 4 life cycle stages for content: request, create, manage, and retire. Now we'll be taking a closer look at each in a moment. But first, it's important to note that before you do anything, you'll need to elaborate on the why. Why would you entertain doing something? The how do you make it happen? What are the steps? And the impact. What is the resulting net benefit or loss as a result of your decision? So in the request phase, you will need to look at 4 elements, starting with the ownership of the content. You'll need to determine which department or staff member you'll have responsible for creating, managing, and maintaining certain content. If it's material, say, for prospective students, perhaps it'll be an admissions officer. You can keep track of who's accountable within the metadata. You'll also need to establish the business purpose for the content. What do you need to include on your site and why? This means weeding out content that has low value for your school. You can gather feedback by having various departments fill out simple request forms. This too will help them think about resources needed to execute their requests. And speaking of which, you will need to ensure that you have the educational resources necessary to create and manage this content. This includes both manpower and technology. You'll want to estimate the duration of any project and the skills needed to complete it. And lastly, you'll want to gauge the success criteria for any project you undertake. It is recommended that you regularly review the content to make sure that it's well received and useful. Now, there are many analytics tools available to help ensure that the content does not live past its effectiveness. Now that the groundwork is in place, you can move on to the create phase. You'll need to determine who will have access to what content and make assignments for handling the workflow. You can do this by adding folders or metadata to the content. Of course, you'll also need to set standards and style for the content. After the content is online, you'll need to manage it. This may entail modifying the content, providing updates, or even corrections as needed. And here's where the ownership comes into play. It will be up to whichever staff member or department is designated to handle a particular piece of content to make these changes. Maybe the content is about an event with a specific deadline. You can set a date for its removal. Which brings us to the retire phase. If the content is no longer needed, you'll need to retire it, which is our last phase in the life cycle. This may mean archiving or deleting it. The decisions on when this should happen would have been made in the request phase, particularly when you're deciding the business purpose. Now, managing website content can seem overwhelming. But with the right organization through content governance, starting with the request or the planning phase, and then the create and the manage phase, and then ending with the retire phase, your site will be running like a well-oiled machine, and there'll be little cause to worry at your end. Thanks for watching my presentation.